Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with visionary Afro-Latina owner and entrepreneur Dr. Syreeta Bond. These days, she is the owner of Edgy Opulence Lifestyle Branding, serving as a dynamic project management company specializing in providing innovative solutions for fashion brands in Austin, Texas. Her unique approach combines project management expertise with a keen sense of style, earning her the title of the Fashionable PMP. In addition to her success in project management, she is a multifaceted individual. She's a published author and the proud owner of fashion-forward brand Lipstick Killers Collection fashion line. We cover quite a bit of ground. Enjoy.
It's great to meet you. You got a lot going on in your life.
Thank you. Oh man, all the time.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's the way I roll. There's just, I always feel like I'm chasing my shadow and I'm never going to quite catch it, but I'm going to give it the best shot I can.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
That's right. That's right. Well, hey, where are you located? Where are you coming out of?
I am in Austin, Texas.
I talked to somebody else from Austin, the new capital of the world.
I guess.
Someone was telling
here
what's that?
I've only been here 2 years, so it's but I dig it. I like it.
Well, that you would technically be a veteran. I mean, the guy I talked to today literally just pulled his trailer up into Austin today, and he was telling me that people are going to Nashville now. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Seattle in the 90s. Everybody flocked to it, and then people had to retreat. You know? So, but it's good. Well, cool. Well, it's great to meet you. I would love to begin our conversation before we get into your very esteemed existence as a visionary, an entrepreneur, just doing all kinds of things. I want to know, 4 years ago, when we look at the calendar, there was a global pandemic that was heading our way. And I'm wondering how you survived that time period and how it subsequently changed you when we came out of it.
Oh my gosh. So I would never forget the moment this all happened. So I actually just moved back from Dubai in 2019. My contract was up over there. I was there for almost 3 years. And so I went to visit my family in Delaware. I'm from Delaware. And then I went back to Atlanta because my brother still lived in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 9 years. I still had a storage for 3 years in Atlanta. So that was like September. I was applying for this job in LA and I got it. So I moved to LA October 2019. And then I guess that's when everything kind of started happening. But I was still going to the office, everything was cool. And then next thing you know, it kind of just hit. And then we were working from home since March. And I was right in LA, like downtown LA. That was surprisingly the cheapest apartment I found was in downtown LA. So then we started working from home. And then I don't know about everywhere else, but California completely shut down. So I'm just moving to this new area. I did one little holiday party through my job, and then that was it. And then we were indoors. And nothing was open but hospitals and grocery stores. So I'm I didn't even get a chance to really see California and experience California the way I did because I had left there after 3 years and moved to Texas. So it was really strange for me. But it was hard too, because not only was all that happening with the pandemic and everything, and we were home, which I actually enjoyed being home, but then I ended up getting pregnant. So I'm oh, Lord have mercy, after all this time. I didn't even have a hot girl summer yet. So I'm just I have one of the babies. There was a whole lot of babies born that time. So she came. And then it was okay. And then we started creeping back, going to the office every now and then. And now it's full on hybrid, but it was really strange. And it was really hard though, because, there were a lot of people struggling at the time. Me personally, I was not struggling. I loved being home. I loved working in my office and chilling and all that. My husband's my best friend, even though he gets on my nerves. So it's it wasn't awkward for us. But I absolutely loved being at home. But then at the same time, I just noticed how everybody was hurting. And then with LA being one of the epicenters, it was just when you did go outside, you would see trucks and hazmat suits, and parking lots were turned into testing centers, and it was crazy. So I was like, wow, this really, it feels like a movie. And then all the riots. Oh my goodness gracious. That shocked me. That shocked me. Because like everything with like George Floyd and all that. So the protests, it was so insane in downtown, like millions of people protesting, and I wanted to go out in them streets. Hold on. I don't want to cry. I wanted to go out in the streets. So I'm yelling from my balcony, like, power to the people, you know. My husband was like, we are not going outside. No. So our building got attacked, glass everywhere. It was lit. So it was a lot going on during that pandemic. And I felt like we were right in the middle of it all. From the apartment, from the balcony. I saw everything from my balcony. But I would never, ever forget that moment. Just everything that we as a people and as a world went through. And I feel like it just changed a lot of people, some people positive, some people negative. But I know for damn sure that we all kind of came together at certain points during that time. We used to yell at, what was it, 7 o'clock at night? I think it was 7 o'clock at night. Every single person used to go out on their balcony and yell at the top of their lungs, thank you to all of the workers, all the nurses.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, it was just like insane. I got all the footage on like Snapchat and Instagram. Like I keep all those videos of everything that happened to the police, the army, everything. I have all that footage and I would never, ever, ever forget it. It was just crazy time, man. Crazy.
It was wild, and I think that a lot of what we lived through was kind of, teetering on the edge to begin with. But of all the countries in the world, leave it to America to have a full-on bonfire pandemic and then to just throw gasoline on it. Because when all of the protests were going on, I was like, everybody's been inside for 2-3 months. It's warm outside. They're like, we're done with this. I mean, it was just like, it was ready to go. I mean, but anyway, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was quite a time. If there was ever a moment that anybody needed to feel creative or have a spark, there was that was it. That was the epicenter of being alive.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, so many businesses. I think we broke the record with businesses starting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like, well, I'm home. You know what? Let me go ahead and just start this whole thing. And
Yeah.
let me really dig in because you had the time. You had the time.
You totally did.
It made you value, like you looked at things differently. Now, like work and life, work, home, life balance, and all that, like all those things are like super important to everybody now.
Yeah.
That's like not wearing off at all.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. And, speaking of creating and being successful, you have a lifestyle branding company, you have a lipstick collection. And I'm curious, if I was to put you in 2024 right now in front of a bunch of third grade students at career day, and one of the kids said, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer that child?
I would say I'm busy. No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, mama is busy. But no, yeah. So I have my branding company, Edgy Opulence Lifestyle Branding Company, started actually when I was in Dubai because I shut down my fashion business there. Because I didn't know how to operate, like how that operation would go being overseas and operating a business. It's not like America where you can have side hustles all day. It's different when you're in another country. So Edgy Opulence Lifestyle is like, it was a blog, and then it kind of sprouted into consulting and project management and like being edgy and taking risk and chances, but also, doing everything luxuriously and flawlessly and beautiful. So that's how that kind of like developed. And I really honed in on it during the pandemic as well, because we had the time. And then when I came back to the States, I relaunched my fashion business. So it's actually a fashion business, even though it's called Lipstick Killers Collection. Everybody thinks it's beauty. It's not. It's my fashion business. Just got a funky name. But Lipstick Killers Collection, that's been my pride and joy. I've had it for years, but I really kind of honed in on the sustainability piece of it these last few years. Because yes, that's the thing. During the pandemic, we saved our ozone layer. Like we saved the earth. It wasn't like noxious gases out like that. Our air was beautiful because we weren't on the road tearing it up. And then we kind of got back into it. So we're going ahead and doing those same like climate impacts. But as a fashion business, that the effect we have on the climate is horrible. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do my part. We're going to be completely sustainable. We're going to be carbon neutral. We're going to try to find locally sourced products. We're going to track everything. We're going to, keep everything kind of like US made and things like that. We do import some things, of course, but production wise and all that, we're trying to, do our part to keep it in a sustainable way, healthy products, moving towards a more common goal with the PMI goals of sustainability as well, the UN, the SDG goals. We follow those goals, and that's kind of like what I do. So I'm a sustainable fashion designer and brand owner. I'm also a consultant. I love project management. I write books. I'm an author. Like I do all these things, but I'm more so a mom. I'm a caregiving wife. Like all of that is me, and that's one thing that I would tell someone that's like a school child, like you said, third grader. What I am and what I do and all my businesses is me. I live in my authenticity. I care about everything I do. I'm passionate about everything I do, and I put my heart into everything I do. And that's what I do.
And that's very evident. And I'm curious, at that age in your life, third grade, 10, 11 years old, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, third grade. How old was I? What was I? 9, 8. I wanted to be a drummer.
Okay, cool.
I was like Sheila E. and Prince. Yeah, I'm old. Sheila E. I wanted to be Sheila E. and be a drummer and percussionist.
Very nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious, where were you born and raised? And obviously, you're very highly driven, very highly motivated. How did all of these seeds of being an entrepreneur and a visionary, how did all of these take hold and grow into who you are today?
Well, I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, the first state, born and raised, and had humble beginnings. My mom came from Puerto Rico, met my dad, didn't speak any English, and that's all it was. So I'm half Puerto Rican, half Black, but we was broke. We grew up poor, trying to make the best we could. I love my mother. I love my father to death. And my dad passed away when we were very young. So my mom held it down. And I get all my strength and all my courage and everything from her. I can honestly say that. But just, going through the corporate side of things in the corporate world, when you live and work in Delaware, it's mainly banking, financial sector industry. All the banks are there. And that's really the only jobs you have. So those were kind of like, toxic work environments. So as I, was trying to move up the corporate ladder and getting my education, just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do, anything negative that happened to me, I turned it into a positive motivating force. And that's how I got the drive to like get into different industries and move to different states. And then, well, you know what? I'm gonna move a different country because this opportunity came up. And really just finding out what I really wanted to do and hone in on what I wanted, where I wanted to be. And project management actually came in later, in my late 20s. And that's when I kind of got into that field. And even though it's pretty much across every industry, that's like something that, oh, this is what I do anyway. And it just made sense to me. And it's like something that I really love and I'm good at. So I incorporate it into everything I do now. But yeah, the banking and all that, hell no, I can't do that anymore. But that's what kind of sparked my change. Like, okay. And in fashion, because I always been on the plus side of the game. So not being able to find clothes, that's what sparked me having, you know what, I'm gonna start my own line, like online then. How about that? I'm gonna, make t-shirts and I want real big jewelry and stuff. And I want to show it to the world. Like it's like anything that I couldn't do or anything that I couldn't find, that's like it motivated me to actually create that solution.
So talk to me a little bit about who's been kind of an ultimate inspiration or a hero for you in your life.
Oh wow, my mother for one. She went through so much with us growing up, and she struggled a lot too. You know, three of us and father, passing away and everything. So but she's always held it down. So my mom's been my number one inspiration. But also, like from a celebrity side, I love like Oprah, and I love Issa Rae. I love like all the ladies that are like doing things that people told them that they couldn't do. Um, and never giving up. Taraji Henson, she never gave up. She moved to California with her son and fresh out of college with nothing. And that's kind of like how I did when I moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta with one paycheck and no job. Like I was just like, I packed up my apartment. I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm leaving Delaware. I can't do this. This got to be something better. So anyone that does like risk taking and takes those leaps, I love them for it. They are my inspiration.
So if you could meet one person on the planet right now that you find fascinating and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Oh man. Lord have mercy. Is that everybody?
There we go. Big round table.
Let's all sit down. Shoot. Well, you know what? I would love to meet Issa Rae. Like that's like I love her so much. I totally love her show. And I'm mad that I was in California during COVID, but I'm mad that I didn't get a chance to meet her when I was there. I kind of was like every time I went outside, I would stalk the streets. Like, is Issa Rae around here somewhere? No, okay. But I would love to meet her in person, like, and just talk to her. She's so funny. And everybody says I'm funny. So I think like we could probably be best friends. If I could meet her, I would definitely meet her. And of course I would pitch my life story to her. Like, hey girl, let's make a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is your motivation every day? What gets you out of bed? What gets you to help clients, help people, and then to evolve as a human yourself? What is that for you?
Oh, I love getting things done. I'm addicted to tasking and multitasking. Like that's just my life. But I keep going. I love crossing things off my list. And I want to do everything I can to make the world a better place for my daughter. I want to make sure she has an earth when she gets older. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure the world is better for her. And I want to be a good example for her too. I want her to, I want to leave it up to her what she wants to do. But if she says, Mom, I want to just go ahead and start a business, cool, let's do it. This is what you need to do. I want to go to college. That's fine too, because your mommy's a doctor. So I can tell you how you need to prepare for that. Like, just she motivates me the most. And she gets me up in the morning. Well, she has no choice to get me up in the morning because she wakes up like butt crack early. But but most of the time I wake up before her. Because I
Nice.
have stuff to do.
So let me ask you this: of all of the clients that you've helped and been involved with, what is one of your favorite client success stories?
Oh, wow. That's a good question because I would say the mentorship side of what I do is very, very rewarding. Um, and when I go to like do speaking engagements and like work with people I'm a part of the Women in Project Management community, the PMI community. And they're all kind of like small projects where, oh, I'm going to do a conference. I'm going to travel over here. I'm going to do some volunteer work. Those mini projects. They are so rewarding. And then when I have someone reach out to me and ask me anything about like my journey, my project management journey, my career journey, my doctoral journey, and I give them like the real of what I went through, and this is what you need to look out for. And then they come back like, girl, I got my PMP. I'm like, oh, or I just enrolled for my doctorate. I'm like, oh my God, like it's just that is so rewarding. Like someone saying, thank you, you inspire me. And it's just like that's like those are the best projects in my book. Of course, I had like other business clients and sustainability projects and things like that, which is awesome as well. I love when we all like doing our best to create change, but those personal ones, the mentorship ones, the volunteer work, things like that, like doing like social media work and stuff like that, like that is just so rewarding because people really appreciate it and they inspire you to keep going. Sometimes you think your content is not getting heard at all. And next thing you know, I get a message saying, you just inspired me and made me want to keep going. I'm like, now I'm going to keep going.
Right on. Well, you also have to give good advice to clients, and I'm curious, what's the best advice that you've ever gotten?
Oh, wow. A few different ones. Staying consistent. I've never forgotten that one. Staying consistent. And then also, this is one of the key things, and this is kind of like what changed my career trajectory. Someone was said to me, and I was like, well, how come you don't, like, how come I'm not in that meeting? How come they didn't ask me about it? And he said, well, Syreeta, insert yourself. Be proactive with your growth. And I'm like, oh, okay. You can't wait for somebody to give you anything. You have to put yourself out there. You got to put your hand up. You do have to be proactive, especially when you want to move on and move up in your career. And I definitely had like a whole section on this in my book because we feel like, I don't know, you just depend on your manager to kind of lead the way. No, you have to advocate for yourself. And I would never forget that advice. He was like, insert yourself, put yourself out there, put your hand up. You want more projects? Let me know. I can't read your mind. I'm too busy with other people too. I don't know what you want. You got to be vocal about it. So I did. And I've kept that same energy ever since. And it works.
So I'm curious, if you have a dream tonight, run into that version of you that was leaving Delaware, going off into the world, and you can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained. What advice would you impart on that young version of you?
Become project management certified then. Be a project manager then. Like start that at that moment. When I left Delaware, actually I would have went to me at 18, honey. It was like, girl, you can have a whole fulfilling life if you did project management. You can cut all this out. All that struggle from 18 to 30. Yeah, knock that out and become a project manager. That would be the only thing I would say to her.
So,
And don't go into debt.
yeah, exactly. Well, and everything's worked out. So I'm curious, at this point in your life, of all of the things that you've done and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, ah, that's hard
Huh.
because I always have a new goal. I
Yeah.
always have a new goal. It's always something. It's always something else. But I'm proud of doing everything that I can, and being the best mom. I'm doing everything I can to help her, to help my husband. I'm doing everything in my power that I can. And I'm very proud of that because, you don't usually get that type of recognition from anyone because no one really sees what you do.
Yeah.
But I had to do that. I had to like pat myself on the back for that. Like I'm the best mom ever.
Yeah.
And I am doing everything in my power to help my husband. So yes, I am proud of those things.
Okay. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh man, queen, goddess. This girl, and she go, go, go. But sometimes she need to rest, rest, rest.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if anyone out there wants to reach out, they want to get involved with your various worlds of business, reach out to you. Where's the best place to go?
I am always on Instagram. Do not tell my job, but I'm always on Instagram. And you can hit me. I don't ghost anyone on my DMs unless it seems like spammy or whatever. But
Uh,
no, we got a filter for that now. Yay.
yeah.
But yes, you can reach me on Instagram, X, Threads, whatever. It's all Fashionable PMP. Fashionable PMP. And then also please stay up to date on my latest book launch. So that is coming out very, very soon. We're talking weeks, honey, weeks. And that's drsyreetabond.com.
Beautiful. Dr. Syreeta, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your story. Keep making the world a better place. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.